about a week back.
You always better.
Carmen's right here. Eric, the Carmen's right here.
Yeah. And what room Ricky was in? Oh, Oh, we got Mr. Baptist. That's what you want to be. That's the speaker. That's it. Don't miss it. Ladies, I'll leave you got the waste stuff and the other stuff too.
Esto es lo que vale, dice mi papá. Míralo ahí. Hijo de puta. La galleta, mira quién es. All those cookies are good. We'd like to welcome everyone to the 157th observance of Memorial Day. Okay. 160 years ago, the guns of the Civil War fell silent, a war that nearly tore our nation apart. In 1866, the veterans of New Bedford had began forming themselves into the Grand Army of the Republic. They decided to honor those from the city who made the ultimate sacrifice by constructing this memorial here, a full 2 years before Memorial Day was officially established. Since that time, our city gathers every May to honor the fallen and to honor those who have passed on into history. Let us begin to honor them today. I'd like to call forward Father Michael Racine, pastor of the Wayland City Catholic Community Parishes of St. Lawrence, St. Francis of Assisi, in the holy name of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, for our prayer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Always a joy to be able to come and to pray and to offer this very special day to remember those who have given their lives for our country. And we pray. God, our Heavenly Father, you have blessed us with the brave men and women willing to defend our freedom. Surround them with your protection and grace each day. Let your healing hand be upon those who suffer the wounds of war and those with many injuries. On this Memorial Day, we recall those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, that they rest forever in your holy presence. We ask you to comfort their families who still mourn and are left behind to remember the precious lives of their loved ones. On this Memorial Day, we place the symbol of our country, the flag, on the graves as a sign of remembrance. Let us always be mindful of what that flag represents. The loving sacrifice made on behalf of our American soldiers, our sons, our daughters, our husbands and our wives, our mothers, our fathers, our family, our friends, and our heroes. We ask you now to grant them eternal rest in your loving care. And finally, we ask your gift of peace to come upon our communities, our nation, and our world. Amen.
Thank you, Father Racine. I'd now like to call forward City Council President Shane Burgo for the Pledge of Allegiance. We will use the American flag that is at the top of the common.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Council. For our national anthem today, it will be sung by Olivia Charis, a freshman at New Bedford Voc. She's with the Showstoppers Performers.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad shapes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you, Olivia. I now call forward Chris Gomes, the City of New Bedford's Veteran Service Officer, for the reading of Logan's orders.
General John A. Logan's Memorial Day Order. General Order Number 11. Headquarters, Grand Army of the Republic, Washington, D.C., May 5th, 1868. The 30th day of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard in the land. In this observance, no form or ceremony is prescribed, but post and comrades will in their own way arrange such fitting services and testimonials of respect as circumstances may permit. We are organized, comrades, as our regulations tell us, for the purpose, among other things, of preserving and strengthening those kind and fraternal feelings which have bound together the soldiers, sailors, and Marines who united to suppress the late rebellion. What can aid more to assure this result than by cherishing tenderly the memory of our heroic dead, who made their breasts a barricade between our country and its foes. Their soldier lives were the reveille of freedom to a race in chains, in their death a tattoo of rebellious tyranny in arms. We should guard their graves with sacred vigilance. All that the consecrated wealth and tastes of the nation can add to their adornment and security is but a fitting tribute to the memory of our slain defenders. Let us not wanton foot tread rudely on such hallowed grounds. Let pleasant paths invite the coming and going of reverent visitors and fond mourners. Let no vandalism of avarice or neglect, nor ravages of time testify to the present or to the coming generations that we have forgotten as a people the cost of a free and undivided republic. If other eyes grow dull, and other hands slack, and other hearts cold in the solemn trust, ours shall keep it well as long as the light and warmth of life remains in us. Let us then, at the time appointed, gather around their sacred remains and garland the passionless mountains above them with choicest flowers of springtime. Let us raise above them the dear old flag they saved from dishonor. Let us in this solemn presence renew our pledge to aid and assist those who they have left among us as a sacred charge upon the nation's gratitude, the soldiers and sailors, widow and orphan. It is the purpose of the Commander-in-Chief to inaugurate this observance with hope it will be kept up from year to year, while a survivor of the war remains to honor the memory of his departed comrades. He earnestly desires the public press to call attention to this order and lend its friendly aid in bringing it to the notice of comrades in all parts of the country in time for simultaneous compliance therewith. The department commanders will use every effort to make this order effective. By command of John A. Logan, Commander-in-Chief.
Thank you, Chris. We will now have the Gettysburg Address being done by Alana Mendez Fernandez from the Roosevelt Middle School.
Fourscore and 7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, tested whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure. We are met on a great battlefield of that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. But in a larger sense, we cannot dedicate, we cannot consecrate, we cannot hollow this ground. The brave men, living and dead, who struggled here have consecrated it, far above our poor power to add or detract. The world will little know nor long remember what we say here, but it can never forget what they did here. It is for us, the living, rather to be dedicated here to the unfinished work which they who fought here have thus so nobly advanced. It is rather for us to be here dedicated to the great remaining task before us, that from these honored dead we take increased devotion to that cause for which they gave the last full measure of devotion. That we here highly resolve that these dead shall not have died in vain, that this nation, under God, shall have a new birth of freedom, and that government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth.
Thank you, Alana. Just want to take a quick moment here to recognize our city councilors, our school committee, and our state representatives and state senators for marching and participating in this year's Memorial Day service. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to bring forward the Mayor of the City of New Bedford, Jonathan Mitchell, for the annual Memorial Day address.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to begin my remarks with words of thanks. It takes a lot to put this parade together, a lot of work that extends far beyond before Memorial Day. And in that way, I want to thank in particular Bob Bromley and Christopher Gomes for their work all year long in making the parade well organized and befitting the occasion. There were a lot of city employees too that I wish to thank, but in general, I will just say thanks to our emergency personnel, fire, police, and EMS, of course. I also want to give a special thanks to the Department of Public Infrastructure that, especially for the folks who work in city government, know this time of year they do a lot of work making everything look just so, not just here in the park, which looks fantastic, but also in our cemeteries and especially in the veterans plots in our cemeteries. They take extra care because they know it means so much. So if you wouldn't mind giving them a round of applause, I would appreciate it. So there are those of us here and there are those of us who are watching on TV. And there are lots of other people who are doing other things on Memorial Day. And sometimes it is useful for us to remember why we have Memorial Day, how it started some years ago in the wake of the Civil War. So in the months after the war, there were many communities around the country that started to honor those who had lost their lives in battle. The Civil War, of course, was an enormous bloodletting. 2% of the American population was lost in that war. It affected every corner of the country. Standing behind us, and we'll have a ceremony back there in a moment, at the Soldiers and Sailors Monument is one of the first monuments, first Civil War monuments erected in the United States. And at that time, there were not only monuments going up, but also a whole lot of ceremonies. And so ceremonies began to honor those who had lost their lives on the field of battle. And eventually, some 2 years later, General Logan, who was the commander of the largest veterans organization at the time, the Grand Army of the Republic, issued that beautifully written order that Chris just read. And from there on out, what ultimately was known as Memorial Day became Decoration Day, and that's what became a time of year in which everybody stopped and paused to honor those who had lost their lives in battle. In the course of American history, over 1 million Americans have lost their lives in service of this country, over 1 million. And so it is entirely appropriate as people who value the importance of what our republic provides for our lives, the possibilities of living free, of pursuing our dreams, of living a good life, for us to say thank you in some way. Now, of course, there's no way to repay that debt except this, that all of us, the living, have some obligation to pay it forward, to ensure that we together are living the way that they would have us live, with courage, with commitment to the better angels of our nature, with a dedication to the common good of our country, and every once in a while to re-energize all that by stopping and saying thanks in some small way. All together, by your coming here today, and this collective act of remembrance does that. Just showing up matters a lot. And we have a duty to teach our kids that. So for all the kids who are here, this is important. We are glad you are here. We want you to continue we want you to tell your kids someday just how important it was that people sacrificed to make our country a better place in the long run, and make it possible for us to live the kind of lives we all hope to live. So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank our Grand Marshal today, Virginia Senator Davis, who's here. We'll hear from him in a second. Distinguished veteran of the United States Navy and New Bedford native. And I want to thank all of you for being part of this today. Just showing up matters an awful lot, and we teach others, we teach our children by example, and you're doing it now. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. I'd like to bring forward now for our Memorial Day keynote address our Grand Marshal, Virginia Senior Davis, who served 9 years active duty United States Navy, served as a machinist mate in engineering and a supply petty officer aboard the USS Shenandoah, gained experience operating and maintaining complex mechanical systems aboard Navy vessels, deployed on the USS Shenandoah in support of Operation Desert Shield and Operation Desert Storm, provided maintenance and logistical support to the vessels in the fleet, served as advanced medical support assistant with the Veterans Health Administration in Providence, volunteers with the Disabled American Veterans, DAV, here in New Bedford as a chapter service officer, and holds a master's degree in organizational management and leadership and a bachelor's in human services from Springfield College. With this, welcome, Virginia.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all. Thank you. This is such a touching moment for me, because being a woman and being a veteran. So, but let me begin. I don't want to keep babbling on. Good afternoon. I'm deeply honored to stand before you as the Grand Marshal for Memorial Day. As I considered what I might say to so many who have served before me, to the families of those who served and those who still in uniform, today I found myself reflecting, not only as a veteran, but as a woman proud to have worn the uniform, proud to be a soldier, proud to be a Desert Shield, Desert Storm veteran. Memorial Day, thank you. Memorial Day is not just a date on the calendar. It is a sacred moment, a time to pause and honor the brave men and women who gave their lives in service to our country. It's a day for remembrance, for reflection, and gratitude. It is time to consider the cost of freedom, a cost paid in courage, in sacrifice, and in lives. So many gave everything so we could have life and live in peace and liberty. I joined in 1984. I was just 18 years old. I remember the day the recruiter came to my high school. I went to Volk. So I was intrigued. I was not ready to go to college yet. So I said, why not? So I joined. So soon after, I was in boot camp, learning fast. I'm saying very fast. You military people know how fast you had to learn how to march, take orders, and shower under 5 minutes. You all know that. So the day I graduated from boot camp, my family were all there to cheer me on. I was now a fireman, and my dad, John Senna, was a master plumber. He was so proud. As a little girl, I had often gone to work with him, as I learned from him early on how to get my hands dirty. And I still do to this day. I got no nails, so. I served as a machinist mate on board the USS Yellowstone, AD 41, the USS Shenandoah, AD 44, both destroyer tenders out of Norfolk, Virginia, and the USS Willamette, AO 180, and oiler out of Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, working in engine rooms, boiler rooms, valves, and pump shops, environments that were overwhelmingly male dominant. It was not easy. Every day brought new challenges that tested not just my technical skills, but my resilience, my strength, and my sense of belonging. But I held my own, thank you, as a sailor and as a woman. What kept me going was the history of the women who came before me, the giants whose shoulders I stood on, the women who had already begun to break barriers in uniforms. Women have served in every conflict this nation has faced, from nurses and support staff of World War II, Korea, to the brave women of Vietnam, who often went unrecognized, yes, clap for them, and were denied benefits. They were and are the unsung heroes. And then came Desert Shield, Desert Storm. Woo. Women who did not serve quietly. We did not be in the background no more, but we stood shoulder to shoulder with all the men. And we faced the same danger, we saved the same lives, and we gave all, and I say we gave all for our nation. These stories remind us service knows no gender. Honoring and sacrifice must include every American who gave of themselves, no matter the uniform nor the era. This Memorial Day, I carry their legacy in my heart. Let me be clear. It was never about being a woman or a man. It was about answering the call. We all stood and took the same oath to support and defend the Constitution and to protect our country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. While we honor those who have died, we must also recognize those who came home with unseen wounds, the scars we don't always see. Many live with post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, anxiety, and other health issues that remain long, and I say long after the battlefield has gone silent. Some came home, but were never quite the same. And some never came home at all. But today, I remember and honor all of them. Those who died in the service, those who still suffer, and those who gave all and asked for nothing in return. As I hold close the memory of my sister, Corrine Center, who passed away April 13th of this year, I remember her today with deep love and pride alongside all those who we honor. To my fellow veterans, especially my sisters in Christ, sorry gentlemen, but thank you. You've paved the way. You all stood tall. You all held the line when it mattered the most. To those who wear the uniform today, my son Frederick, and continue to protect us, and to all the veterans here who once wore it so proudly, I thank you, I thank you, and I thank you. We are here today to give honor and to shed tears and to remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice for us all. I salute you all. Let us never forget their names, their faces, their stories. Let us lift them up in memory, in honor, and through our commitment to lives worth living of their sacrifices. Thank you, and may we always, always remember. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia. When I reached out to her to invite her to be our Grand Marshal and Speaker, and knowing that her sister had only passed away recently, she also said she would be doing this as a duo with her sister over her shoulder. At this time, we begin the honors program of Memorial Day. We will now have the roll call of New Bedford's deceased veterans from last Memorial Day to this Memorial Day.
There are 78 veterans from New Bedford who passed away from last Memorial Day to this Memorial Day. They are Roger Abreu, Marine Corps; Joseph Almeida Jr., Army; Mary Amarante, Navy; Clifford Anderson Jr., Army; Kenneth Babineau, Army; Frank Bardsley Jr., Marine Corps; Joseph Began, Army; Joseph Bentz, Marine Corps; Deborah Bissonette, Army; Carl Bizarro, Navy; Edward Barraza, Air Force; Joseph Bosquet Sr., Navy; Donald Chouse, Navy; Donald Collette, Navy; Maurice Constant, Navy; Kenneth Cruz, Army; Frank Cunha, Army; Jose De Rosa, Air Force; Leopold Damanche, Army; Robert DeMello, Army; David Dennis, Coast Guard; Charles DeGenis, Air Force; Joseph Drayton, Air Force; Robert Dwyer, Army; Robert Faria, Army; Thomas Fitzgerald Sr., Navy; John Farreau, Army; Everett Goes, Army; Antero Gonzalez, Army; Mark Green Sr., Army; David Grew, Coast Guard; Henry Grobe, Army; Albert Guy, Army; John Harrison Jr., Marine Corps; James Hickey, Army; Leonard Higgins, Army; Albert Hode, Coast Guard; Dennis Kapelis, Air Force; Wayne King Sr., Army; Joseph Kirkman, Marine Corps; Donald Medeiros, Army; Gerard McCow, Air Force; Alfred Martin, Army; Jack McNeish, Army; Adriano Mello, Army; Daniel Mello, Army; Arthur Neri, Army; James O'Rourke, Army; James Palatroni, Army; Jose Paveo, Army, Marine Corps; Kim Payne, Navy; Marcel Perry, Air Force. William Perry Jr., Navy. Richard Pryor, Air Force. Stephen Putnam, Navy. Mark Rebello, Marine Corps. David Reed, Army. Wayne Reese, Air Force. Adelino Santos, Army. Frederick Santos, Army. Richard Stupowski, Air Force. Adolf Staliga, Navy, World War II. Ronald Sinclair, Army. Ronald Tatro, Army. Robert Thatcher Jr., Army. Robert Thomas, Marine Corps. Frederick Toomey, Navy. David Trudell, Navy. George Valentine, Army. Raymond Vieira, Navy. James William, Navy. Francis Vivada Jr., Navy. George Washburn, Air Force. Robert Wilson, Air Force. Philip Young Sr., Navy. And Ronald Zanini, Army.
At this time, we will be placing the wreath and flowers at the Center Monument. And I'll call forward Mayor Mitchell, along with our Grand Marshal, Virginia Center, to place the wreath. Following behind them are three individuals with flowers. First is Penelope May Figueroa, representing her fifth great-grandfather, who died in the American Civil War. This is the 160th anniversary of the ending of that war. In addition, John Philip Reynolds will be placing flowers in memory of his uncle of the same namesake, who was killed in action during World War II aboard the USS Savannah. And then Eric James from the Vietnam Veterans of America, representing the Gold Star families from Vietnam, placing flowers for the 23 New Bedford individuals who did not return home. We will now have the sounding of taps by New Bedford High School student Luis Morales. As we conclude here, we do invite anyone who has lost a veteran during this past year. We do have some carnations down here. If you'd like to come forward and place a carnation at the monument, to do so. I want to thank all who participated here today in the parade and the service with the city of New Bedford, the councilors, the state delegation, the school committee, as well as our 3 students that we had here that we're now bringing into our services. When we conclude at this spot here, we are retiring to the Korean War Memorial to place the wreath up there and just say a few words. And that will conclude our services for this year. In addition, I know the Viridian Vets have an open house, and the Fort Tabor, Fort Rodman Military Museum and Veterans Memorial has an open house until 4 o'clock as well. This concludes the 2025 Memorial Day service. Thank you.
The service that we do here is just a very quick ending for the Memorial Day weekend. Chris Gomes and I each year have decided to carry this tradition on because the Korean War veterans who would do this every year, you pretty much have died away, totally ended up in nursing homes and can no longer do the service. But they were faithful from the moment they put the monument in, that every Memorial Day, right after the city service, they were up here to place a wreath and have a bit of a program. So with Chris, we invite the mayor every year to help us place a wreath here, to honor those who are still with us, but they cannot be with us physically here today. Yeah? Yeah, no, what, so I'll be real brief. I just want to express my gratitude to you, Bob, and to Chris for ensuring that this is permanent part of our Memorial Day program. And I know I speak for the other electeds and former electeds here when I say that this is all very important to us. Elaine did when he was in office, Tony, Shane, Derek, who else is here with us there, the way of electeds. But I just want to thank them for their enduring support. The thing, in many ways, the Korean War hasn't gotten its due in the American minds. It wasn't like World War II in the sense that it was this crusade against this moral enemy. And it had happened real fast in a place that was unknown to the United States, and then people moved on with their lives. But it lasted 3 full years, and it was it entails some incredibly ferocious combat and some of the most heroic deeds on the battlefield in U.S. history. The Battle of the Chosin Reservoir, which every Marine knows about, is one of the great battles of American history, in place where after which were more medals of honor handed out, I think, except for Iwo Jima. And a lot of young men from this city served there, and about 20 to 25 years, it's been about 25 years now, and they decided that that their service should be enshrined by a fitting monument right here, right in the Common, right on County Street. And so it is a very prominent place, and the way that it's set up is, meant for reflection, meant for people to recognize the names who dared it all, but also they from this very neighborhood, but also just to reflect on the nature of the service. So all of this is done, all of what we do on Memorial Day, the efforts of everybody here to show up is an expression that those who gave their lives in service to the country matter. They mattered, and those who might be asked to do it in the future matter. And so if there's anything to take away from that, it's that the importance of that sacrifice, the necessity of it for all of us, current, future generations. So I appreciate that we take a few minutes out to do this. It's entirely appropriate. And I know that there's some families who are here as well, and I hope takes up for this exercise as well. Make it better. Chris? Again, this concludes the City of Bedford's Memorial Day services. The city has been tremendous to the last 3 days, coming out from early morning on Saturday all the way through to this moment here to honor city's residents who had served and gave the sacrifice. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.